Okay, so welcome everyone. You have dialed into a 3-day demo series on Business Analyst training program that is offered by Harsha Trainings. I am Rahul Dubey. Okay, I'll be your trainer, not just for the demo series, but after the demo series as well, if you enroll onto the training program. Okay. So before we jump on to what we have, whatever topics we want to cover, let's first try and understand in this entire 3-day demo series, what are the different aspects that we want to cover first. Okay. So the first thing that we want to discuss on is to build a common consensus on what a business analyst does. Okay? There might be few questions related to what exactly a business analyst is doing in the software industry or the IT sector. How are they contributing? What kind of knowledge would they require? Okay? So let's build a consensus on what a business analyst is actually doing or working. Okay. Second thing will be, once we build a consensus on what a BA does, then what exactly this training program is. Okay. How is it going to help me prepare for what BA does? What are the different aspects that I need to consider before I enroll myself into this training program? Then we will go on to another key aspect, that is what's the difference between business analyst and a data analyst. Also, how a business analyst is different from Scrum Master. Okay, which of these could be better choices for me? The last one that we want to discuss is, with the advent of AI and everyone discussing about the artificial intelligence revolution happening quickly and fastly, what kind of impact the AI will bring onto what a BA does. Okay. Now all these four are the high level topics that we are going to discuss. Obviously there will be multiple subtopics within them that we will be covering over the course of next 3 days starting today. Okay. All the points that we will be discussing, I will be creating a running notes. Okay. So the important key points or keywords I'll be listing down in the notes, and all the notes at the end of the session, okay, before end of the day, will be uploaded onto Google Classroom link. Okay. So I request you all that if you already have access to Google Classroom link, okay, go ahead, use it to download the notes, refer to these notes whenever you are available. Also, if you don't have access to this Google Classroom link for this demo series, you can send us a message on this WhatsApp number. Okay. Once you send us a message on this WhatsApp number, just mention that you attended the demo series today and you want access to the Google Classroom link. Okay. Probably they'll ask you for the email ID, and once they have it, you can start accessing the notes as well. Okay. On top of all this, all the demo series videos, as they get recorded, some editing will be done, and finally it will be posted on YouTube for your reference again. Okay. So I'll paste this number onto the chat box as well, just for everyone's benefit, so that they can refer to it whenever needed. Okay. Now let's get started. Okay. So let's first introduce myself, okay, what I do, and then let's get onto what a business analyst does. So as I mentioned earlier, my name is Rahul Dubey. I have been in the IT industry for 14 plus years. I'll be completing 15 years in couple of months from now. I started my journey as a developer, and now I'll be and then for last 12 odd years I have been working into the business domain space. Okay, so I started with a business analyst, gradually moved on to product owner role, and now I have been working as as the product manager come product owner for a very large health insurance client based in USA. Now, how does this entire industry actually gets into, or what all topics that we are going to discuss? Okay. So we just covered on the trainer's experience part. Once done, we will move on to what a BA does. Okay, understanding from you guys as well. What do you think of BA? And then let's build, like I said, let's build a consensus on what a BA does. Then we will go through the course content as well, how we have structured this training program to help you prepare for BA. Okay, what prerequisites are needed before you enroll into the training program, some of these surrounding myths around BA, and how are we going to help you prepare for BA once the training program is over. Okay. See, the agenda of any training program is not just to throw some topics at you and then you have to learn through them. Okay? It doesn't serve any purpose. Okay? Unless we help you prepare with activities like resume preparation, okay? Interview questions, and then how to answer those questions in the interview. Okay? So those will be some of the preparation activities that we will take at the end of training program. How do we build a resume for it, for BA, and then how do we appear for interview, and then answer the relevant questions being asked. Okay. We will also cover some certification details. What are the certifications available for a BA? How much these certifications are useful, and how the career trajectory of a BA goes. Okay. Obviously, we are not in for 10 years or a shorter duration work. Okay. We obviously want to get into a field which can offer us professional growth. Okay. There's no point in me working for. I mean, I'm not saying digital marketing is bad, but take digital marketing for example. Okay, a lot of people consider digital marketing as an evergreen field. It is an evergreen field because with lot of businesses going online, you need digital marketing. But then, what are growth perspective within digital marketing space for a normal person? Okay, both in terms of salary, in terms of career as well. At some point in time, you stagnate. Okay, so obviously you want a career which offers you better growth both professionally and in terms of salary as well. Okay. So we will look at the career growth as well after checking through the certification part. Okay. Now, before we get into what roles does a business analyst play, I want to know from you guys, okay, what do you think a business analyst does within IT industry? I'm sure you guys would have done some research. Okay, you would have at least what we do, googling about business analyst. Okay, what business analyst does, so that you would have understood something in your experience, or maybe you are already from IT but working as a developer, working as a tester, so you might have some idea about business analyst. So what do you think a business analyst's role is within the IT industry?
Hi Rahul, good morning. Manoj here.
Hi Manoj.
So actually, I am in US healthcare industry, and I'm working as a configuration analyst. But I have received one offer as a BA. But as per my understanding, BA is something like a coordinate with the IT teams, developers teams, and also operation teams, and analyze on the gaps, and also create the document, gather the documents, and work accordingly.
Correct. So you mentioned few points that as a BA, you are a liaison. Okay, so what is this liaison? Basically, you are that common point around which the entire software development is taking place. So you are working with people like clients, okay, from where you are gathering your requirements on what exactly needs to be built. Okay. Then, like Manoj
Yes.
mentioned, there is development team. You are passing that information to development team. How are you passing that information to development team? In the form of requirement documents. Okay. So whatever that development team is doing, it has developers and few testers as well. Okay. So whatever product they are building, whatever software the development team builds, what we will do is we will ensure that the same information passes on to the operations team. The operations team is nothing but users of the software that the development team has built. Right throughout this entire process, you are always ensuring that you relay information in the appropriate formats. Okay. I'm not trying to go through emails every time because too many emails may cause confusion. So how about we build some appropriate documents? How about we use flow charts in between as well to explain a process? Okay. How do we ensure that our requirements are prioritized? That if I have 10 requirements in place that my client wants, how do I know that which is the one I should start focusing upon? So how do I prioritize between the work that is given to me? Okay. A simple example would be uh, just for you guys to explain. Whenever you go to any restaurants, okay, who is the person that we often interact with? Okay, so when we go to restaurants as a customer, my interaction is always with waiter. Okay. What am I doing with waiter? So the waiter is responsible for keeping me engaged, answering all my queries. Okay. So if I want menu, the waiter will bring me the menu. If I have any queries while accessing the menu, the waiter will help me with that. If I'm not able to decide what food I want to eat, probably I can give my preference that I'm a vegetarian or a non-vegetarian, or I would like some sweets. The waiter can accordingly recommend that dish for me. If I have any preferences, less spicy, more spicy, less oily, I can share all those preferences with waiter. The waiter then goes on to the actual chefs. Okay. I'm not directly interacting with chef. Okay. The waiter is interacting with chef. The waiter is giving all my requirements that the customer wants. Some vegetarian that the customer wants, let's say paneer dish, veg food, less oily, no spicy, okay, and whatever other items that I would have ordered along the way. Okay, so all the food that I ordered plus the preferences that I gave along with the food passed on from me to waiter, then waiter to chef. Okay. Then again in the same direction it will come back. Chef will hand it over to waiter, waiter will give it to the customer. Okay. So what waiter is doing is waiter is working as a liaison between me and chef. If anything goes wrong, if I don't like the food, I will not go directly to chef and start scolding the chef. Okay. I'll call in waiter and I'll express my displeasure at what food was being served. Okay. So the same thing happens with business analyst as well. Because I, as a business analyst, I am liaisoning with clients. Okay. If there is anything wrong with the product, if there is anything wrong with the software, I cannot go and say that the developer did the coding mistake or the tester did not do proper testing. Okay. I cannot go on with that. The client will run after me only. That I am talking to you. I only know you, so I'm relying on you. Okay. So as a business analyst, I'm playing just a rough analogy, similar role as waiter. We are in the client facing role where we represent the face of the company. Anything that goes wrong with the software, I cannot point a finger on others. Okay? I have to accept it. Okay? That's why I'm always what I'm ensuring that the information is passed in the appropriate formats We are doing reviews as well. Once the product is built, I will not simply hand over the product to the client. I will review it myself first to ensure that the product meets the necessary requirements or not. Okay. Then, like Manoj mentioned, a document expert. There will be variety of documents that starts with requirement document where all the customers preferences requirements are noted down. Okay, all the items that are not needed are also noted down so that there is no confusion. Whenever we create documents, we always follow something called as smart criteria. Okay, that means we are ensuring that we are representing information specifically, okay, that can be measured, achieved, related to the
Accountable.
work project that I'm doing, and it must be testable as well. Okay, now all these documents that we are building, they are clear in terms of what information we want to present. There is appropriate flowchart available within the document that we are trying to present, okay? So that the information that I am capturing is conveyed appropriately to my end users or to the consumers of the document. Okay? We are ensuring that along with requirement document, I am building release notes or other documents as applicable, like user stories. Okay, we will go through what these are in detail in our training program, but for now consider that these are different documents that a business analyst is focusing upon. Okay, any questions that you guys have?
Hello,
Yes, go ahead.
Rahul Akshay this side. So I just wanted to know the difference between a business analyst and a scrum master, because both are like identical, right?
No, both are different, and we will definitely get to your question. It's just that may not be today. We'll go on it tomorrow. Okay, we already have it in our 3-day demo series. Okay, so we will discuss about it because a lot of people have same question. But today we are trying to
Yeah,
build some basics on what BA does, what this training program is. Once we have that basic understanding, then we can start discussing or comparing BA with other roles.
yeah, sure.
Okay. Now, another thing that we will be discussing on is being a good facilitator. Okay. So, as a business analyst, you will be attending lot of meetings. Okay, those meetings can happen within your team. That means that will include developers and testers. Those meetings can happen with your operations team. Those meetings can happen with your clients. Okay, and those meetings can run with different agendas. Sometimes I'm meeting with them to solve a problem. Sometimes I'm meeting with clients to uh, gather their expectations, their requirements. Okay, sometimes I'm meeting with the clients to give them a demo of the software that we have built. Okay, so the meeting can run with different agenda, but what we have to ensure is that as a business analyst, we are a good facilitator. How will you ensure that you are a good facilitator? That you are running productive meetings. Okay, that if I have set up a meeting with an agenda of giving a demo of the product, and if I am able to give demo of the product within given time, and people were able to ask questions, I'll consider that as a successful meeting. Okay. Suppose if I have set up a meeting to give demo of the product or the software, but I'm not able to do that in the given time. Okay. There were some technical challenges, or people were asking lot of questions. We could not finish the given agenda on time. Now we are asking for more time, or we are asking for more follow-up meetings. Okay. In that case, my meeting was not productive. Okay. So as a BA, and throughout this training program, we will learn how to be a good facilitator to run productive meetings. Okay. Now, on top of all this work, you will see lot of work being done by BA. Okay. For example, using whatever major work we highlighted, how do we ensure, or how do we do the stakeholder management? Okay. Every person, whether it is within the IT company we are talking to, or outside of the IT company that we are talking to, okay, everyone is a stakeholder for me. I have to ensure that everyone is happy, everyone has the required information that they are looking for. Okay. So stakeholder management becomes one critical part in this entire initiative. We already discussed about requirement gathering, that our major focus in talking to stakeholders is to actually get requirements. Okay. But no one will give me information just like that. Okay. I'll have to ensure that I build good rapport with them. I have to ensure that they have access to whatever information they require, so that we both can build a healthy relationship or a healthy rapport. Okay. In as a BA, everything surrounds around a stakeholder. Okay. If stakeholder is happy, a lot of information will flow without resistance. If stakeholder feels uncomfortable, they may not pass on that information without resistance. Okay. They may give you hard time in meeting with you, in passing on the information to you. Okay. So as a BA, my always primary focus is to ensure that stakeholders, I know about the stakeholders, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, how much involved are they in the project, and then accordingly communicate information with them. Okay. Stakeholder management. Okay. So understanding my stakeholders' strengths, weaknesses, okay, their interest level in the project, okay, their influence on the project. Okay. Suppose if someone is highly influential, probably I should be more careful, because one mistake of mine and then they can run around me, okay, or they can highlight my negative feedback to others. Okay. So stakeholder management is also one aspect. We already discussed on requirement documentation. Process analysis and improvement comes into picture when you have gained sufficient expertise into a software. Okay. If I am working newly on a software, in the initial few days, I'm only trying to learn the software. Once I have spent sufficient time, let's say 6 months, 7 months, learning a software, then there is nothing called perfect software. Okay. We will always find some or the other inefficiencies, and we can always recommend on removing that inefficiency from the software. Then like I said, all the items that we work, or that my development team works upon, I'll not simply pass it on to clients. There has to be some review in between. Okay. So I'll be the first reviewer to ensure that the product or the software is built as per the requirements. Okay. And that is where the soft supporting testing and quality assurance comes into picture. And the last part is post implementation support. Okay. This is where, okay, I think Manoj has the appropriate experience. So he coined out the word Operations. Okay, operations team get involved post implementation. That means once, as a BA, I have reviewed the software, it looks good to me. I will then pass it on to my client so that they can review. If client has also reviewed the software and they are also happy with the software, then what we say, we ask regular users to start using. Take for example e-commerce platform. Okay, suppose the development team is working on building e-commerce platform. As a BA, I will first review how the e-commerce platform looks like, then I'll ask clients to look at it. If I'm okay, I'll ask clients to look at it. If clients are also okay, then they will start advertising and marketing about their product so that people like you and me can can access their e-commerce platform. We are the end users. Okay? So during end users, if when they are whenever end users are using any product software, if they encounter any problem, then also a BA has to pitch in. Okay, not that a BA has to go and personally talk with every end user, but whatever problems are, whenever a BA is notified of the problems, a BA has to ensure that if this is something that they can fix. Okay, now I know this is slightly more than what we generally start with. We think BA is liaison, they have to create some documents, but this is all the work that BA is doing to ensure that one simple criteria, to ensure that the software or the product that is built is in line with the customer's expectation. Yeah. Same thing what waiter is doing here. If customer wants less spicy food, the waiter will ensure that chef is preparing less spicy food. Okay. So waiter is ensuring that the requirements of the customer are fulfilled by the chef. That's the same thing I'm doing. The requirements of my client is fulfilled by my development team. For that process to happen smoothly, I'm creating some documents in between. I'm working as a good facilitator, going through multiple meetings. So there are multiple works happening in parallel, but with just one clear objective. That is to ensure that the requirements of the clients are met. Okay. Now for this entire work to take place, we obviously have designed this training program for this entire work itself. Okay, that how do we go from talking to a client, gathering requirements, creating documents, creating flowcharts, working as a good facilitator, and all the way through the final product. Okay. How do we do all that? For that step-by-step guide itself, we have created this training program, okay, to understand every aspect of business analyst in detail through this training program. Okay. Now, before we get into what this training program is, what topics are we going to cover, and all that stuff, the general question that comes into mind is, okay, now that we understand what a BA does, okay, and if we want to learn more about BA, then what are some of the prerequisites for the training program? Or suppose I want to start my career as BA, so what are some of the prerequisites that I must be fulfilling before I start my career as BA? Now prerequisites are generally divided into two parts. Okay, one is educational prerequisite. Okay. Suppose I'm applying for a job. What will happen is any job you will see two part, job description and educational qualification. Okay, so educational qualification is something that I cannot control for you guys, but generally in IT what is preferred is people with degrees into people with bachelor's degree into technology platforms. Okay, or engineering related degrees. Even MTech or MEs are also acceptable. Okay. And then masters in computer application, that's one that's very popular in India again. Okay. Sometimes a bachelor BCA may be allowed, may not be allowed. Okay. For BAs, even MBAs are also preferred. Okay. MBA in IT management, MBA in business analysis management, MBA in business requirements as well. Okay. That MBA is also okay. Other than that, if you hold any degrees in commerce, arts, okay, or science, okay, that vary from case to case. Okay. Some organizations may accept it, some organizations may not accept it. Okay. So I'll not say that every organization will allow for every degree to take place. Okay, that will vary from organization to organization, so I'll not give you a negative stance that they will not be accepted. If you hold a commerce, arts, or a science degree, that will be accepted, but you'll just have to be careful about which organization you are applying for. Okay, sometimes organization wise there could be prerequisites, okay? Educational prerequisites. The second thing that comes is experience. Okay, what type of experience should I have in order to start my work as BA? Okay, generally if you are someone who is already part of IT industry, okay, maybe you are working as a developer but you don't like coding, maybe you are working as a tester but you don't see a lot of growth in testing, maybe you are working as a data analyst and you don't like how you constantly have to code something in and around, so you want to move to a non-coding role within IT industry, or you are someone from non-IT industry who wants to start your career into the IT industry. Okay, and you hold any of the appropriate bachelor's or master's degree. Okay, so in that case also this training program is suitable for you. Okay, we take into consideration that people from non-IT can also be willing to start their career into IT. So what we do is the training program that we have designed, the first few days, that is approximately 6 to 7 days of the first of the training program, will be focused on teaching about the basics of IT industry, so that people from non-IT can also understand what this is. And then from there, we go on discussing the business analyst related part, what a business analyst will be doing within the IT industry. Now, if you are someone who is a completely fresher, okay, let's say you are going to complete your graduation in 2024 or upcoming years 2025, 2024 is almost done, 2025 is approaching, so let's say you are a fresher who is going to complete their graduation or masters in 2025. So in such cases what I recommend is you go for some internships first. Okay, go for some internship in business analyst. There are multiple domains like internshala.com, okay, through which you can find some internship opportunities and then work as an intern on BA's side. Okay. Generally, the industry wants some experience on the BA side. Okay. I'm saying generally, I'm not saying every company will only want experience. I'm saying generally there will be requirement of some experienced candidate. Why? Because as a BA, like I said, you will be interacting a lot with clients. Okay, so generally the industry looks for people who are experienced, who can talk to clients well, who can handle clients well. Okay, it is assumed that as a fresher you don't have any professional exposure, so you may not be able to handle clients that well. So that's why companies are little reluctant. Again, I'm saying it is not that as a fresher you will not get job as a BA, but it is advisable that you go through some internships on business analyst side and then start applying for jobs on BA domain so that you can highlight your internship as experience on BA side. Okay. Any questions on the prerequisites? Okay, I'll see the chat box also. I'll take the silence as no questions. Okay, there are no questions on the chat box as well. So then let's move forward. Okay, what are some of the common myths around business analyst? Okay, so number one is coding background. Okay, this is one of the most commonly assumed or questions that everyone has. Okay, do I require coding background to become a BA? No, you do not require a coding background. Okay, then the next question is, do I require technical background? Okay, so technical background, let's understand what happens in India is we often consider technical being equal to coding. Okay, that you are a technical person means you are a coder, you like coding. Okay, that's why I'm calling you out as technical person. Okay. However, if you talk purely in India terms, technical being equal to coding, then yes, no technical background is needed. Okay, requiring a technical background is a myth. But if you ask me, in IT, there are three people who are technical. Okay, and who are those three people? They are, sorry, product owner or BA. Second is developer who is actually writing the code, and tester, which is also called as QA, which is actually who is responsible for testing the code that the developer has written. Okay. These three people together are technical. Why? Because they are the starting points. They are responsible for building a software for you, for a customer, from starting till end. Okay, so they all are part of the technical program. Now within this, in India, what we often say is technical is developer. Why? Because developer is responsible for writing code. So if you ask in Indian context, yes, no technical background is required. That means no technical, no coding is same. But if you ask me in general industry terms, industry wide, technical is not only coding. Okay, technical is every person who is involved in building the software for you. Okay, or writing down the necessities of the software for you. Okay, so it's good to be technical because a BA is technical person. They are involved in building requirements, gathering requirements, and then passing out on to developer. If BA does not give requirement, what code will developer write? Okay, so developers, testers, they all are dependent upon BA to supply them the requirements. Okay, so BA is also the first technical point into the software. Okay. Then the next myth could be a fresher cannot become a BA. So I just said a fresher can always go through some internships and then start applying in the IT industry for jobs. Other than that, we also have uh, some people arguing that we have SMEs, that is subject matter experts. So why do we need BAs? Okay, so subject matter experts are responsible for building expertise in a particular subject. that may not necessarily be the requirements part itself. What BAs are doing is BAs are integrating or communicating with SMEs clients to get the requirement information for my team. Okay. Then, like I said, this entire training program we have structured into 5 distinct parts, okay, or 5 distinct main sections, you can say. The first section starts with business analyst introduction. The introduction part generally covers about understanding what IT industry is, what is SDLC, that is software development life cycle, how does a BA contributes in this software development process, what are the different roles and responsibilities that a BA fulfills in this SDLC, who all are the different members, team members with which a business analyst will be interacting. Okay, so we will be understanding about that in the first week of our course. Okay, so first week will be fully focused on building the basics so that even people from non-IT can understand how things operate within the IT industry, who are the different people involved, what kind of roles, responsibilities are played, and what is this term called software development life cycle. From there, we then gradually move towards the next 3 topics will be completely focused on what a business analyst will be doing on ground. Okay. Now that we have gone through the introduction part, so the next 3 sections will be focusing on key activities like stakeholder management, RACI matrix, how do we plot RACI matrix, how do we do risk management, okay, how do we log risks in a risk register. Then we move on to what is requirement, what are the different categories of requirement. Okay, after stakeholder management, we move on to what are the different types of what is requirement, what are different categories of requirement. Then how do we collect requirement, what is this term called requirement elicitation, what are the different elicitation techniques available. Requirement elicitation techniques that we will be discussing. Okay, so we started with the introduction part where we are trying to build basics. Then we move on to stakeholder management where we said things, learning about who stakeholder is, okay, what are the different categories of stakeholders, how do you manage them, what is this RACI matrix called. Then there will be one more subtopic within it called risk management. Okay. Then we move on to techniques like what is this requirement, different types of requirement. Okay. And we will focus on requirement elicitation technique because that is what will help us gather requirement. Okay, so what are the different techniques that are available, which technique can be used in which circumstance, so that we can accordingly talk to our stakeholders to gather requirements. Okay, then we gradually move on to activities like requirement prioritization and requirement modeling, like creating flow charts, activity diagram, use case diagram, and then at the end we will be covering requirement documentation. Okay, once we are done with this, then we will again focus on what agile or scrum is. Okay, because a lot of people may not understand what agile scrum is, so we will be spending another 2 to 3 days on building basics for agile and scrum. And once we have built the basics, then we will move on to what user story is, how to write a user story, What is the invest criteria? Here we will be discussing about SMART criteria for writing requirements, invest criteria for writing user stories. Then we will talk about product backlog grooming. What is backlog grooming and what are the different activities that take place within this. Once we are done with all the technical topics, then like I said, we will shift our focus onto some of the soft skills. Okay? That is, how do you prepare your resume and interview questions and answers. Okay? So that we don't just stop at teaching you technical, we also teach you on the interview aspects as well. Okay. Now, right throughout this training program, whatever technical topics we will be covering, all those technical topics, they have some assignments or exercises for you to practice. Okay. Sometimes what happens is in a class when someone is speaking, like suppose when I'm explaining about a certain topic, you feel confident, you feel like I have understood everything. But when you go back and when you work on an assignment or an exercise, you realize or you find some challenges, you could not finish that assignment. Okay, and that's when you realize that maybe you did not understand all the topic well, maybe you did not understand what is requirement, so next day you come up with questions. Okay, so that's why we have kept requirements or sorry, assignments or exercises right throughout the training program at appropriate intervals, so that you can go back, try to finish up those exercises. If you face any challenges, you can come to the class next day and ask your questions, specific question on what actually confusion you have. Okay. Obviously, we don't expect you to ask in a class that, can you repeat the entire class what you taught yesterday? All the classes that will be happening in the training will be recorded. Okay, everything will be recorded. You will be given access to the recordings, so that if you just want a revision of the class, you can go through recording. In that revision, if you have any specific question, you can definitely ask during class. So far guys, any questions that you have on course content, what topics are being covered? You have any questions?
No, Rahul.
Okay, so we'll then move on to the next topic, that is what tools are we going to learn as part of this training program. Okay, obviously we talked about Scrum, user stories, requirement documents. Okay, we talked about requirement modeling or flow charts. So there will be two distinct tools that as a BA everyone must know. One is Jira. Okay, Jira is an agile lifecycle management tool which is basically used to manage or track the progress of the work. Okay, so we must know Jira on how to document user stories, how to create a product backlog over there, how to assign priorities to the user story, how do we track the progress of the user story. Okay, basically user stories are representing your requirements that need to be accomplished. So as part of this training program, we will be covering Jira tool as well. Okay, one more thing that we have to be aware about is the Microsoft Visio or Draw IO tool. Okay, which actually helps us to create flowcharts or diagrams, or basically have a visual representation of whatever I'm talking about. Okay, So if I'm talking about a requirement, let's say I want to build an e-commerce platform, there should be some visual representation of how the data or the process will flow within the e-commerce platform. Okay. So we will be talking about Draw IO tool during our training program, how to use it, what is UML, Unified Modeling Language, what is activity diagram, what is use case diagram, and then how do we draw an activity diagram or use case diagram. What are the different points we have to be careful about. Okay, so these tools will be covered in separate classes. Okay, and these tools will help us implement the topics that we discussed about. Okay. For example, requirement modeling, or in order to implement that, we will be accessing Draw.io. Then we said we'll learn about Agile or Scrum. So Jira will help us implement the concepts of Scrum. Okay. And then I'm assuming that you all would be knowing about MS Office. Okay, so you all would be comfortable creating a Word document, updating a Word document, okay, uh, aligning the Word documents, or working on the Excel files. Because as a BA, again, you will be working on documentation part as well. Even we will be having exercises where I'll give you Word documents on creating requirements. Okay. So we will first write down requirements. Once we have requirements, then we will document them into a requirement document. Okay. So these are the tools that even we are going to highlight in our resumes as well. That I know Jira, I know Draw.io or Microsoft Visio, I know MS Word, Microsoft Word, Excel, okay, PowerPoint. These will be the tools that are considered to be the base for a business analyst. Okay, and none of the tools require any type of coding as such. Now the next question that you might have is, it's okay, we understood what a BA does. We have seen through this so far in the 40 odd minutes what a BA is doing. We also went through what are prerequisites, what are the myths. We also looked at the course content and the tools that we are going to learn. Now, how much time will it be going to take to finish up this entire course? Okay. Now, this is our week by week split up. So ideally, we take around 5 weeks. Okay. But please note that there is no compulsion that this will be 5 week course only. Okay. It can span beyond 5 weeks also. That depends on the questions that students will ask. Okay. Generally, the people that enroll in the course, they will definitely have questions. Okay. Not every day we will just come and teach the topic. So every day we start our topic by asking questions. Okay. Do you have any questions from the previous class? Sometimes students will have lot of questions, clarifications, because students will be asking for clarification based on their personal experience as well. Okay, not just what BA does, based on their specific scenarios as well, based on their current work environment as well. Okay, so they'll be asking questions. They could be asking questions from any side, and we don't stop them from asking questions. So though the expectation is that it may be done within 5 weeks, but it can span beyond 5 weeks as well. Okay. Generally, the classes go on for 35 days. Okay. That is 35 hours, including when students are asking questions. Okay. If students are not asking any questions at all, if they have well thoroughly understood, then these classes can finish within 30 hours as well. Okay, but there is no There is no hard and fast rule that we have to finish within 5 weeks only. Okay, we will not try to finish a course or dump a course on you without making you understand about it. Okay. Now I'll take a pause here. We will stop here for today. Okay. We will continue uh, covering remaining topics like what are you going to learn once the course is complete, how are we going to prepare you after this course, what are different certifications, and what is the career growth path for a BA looks like. Okay, so we will cover these topics again tomorrow. And once we have covered these topics, like I said, we will also continue with the remaining topics that we discussed about difference between the different roles, and how is AI going to impact BA, and what BA can do about the artificial intelligence part as well. Okay. So we will continue learning about these remaining topics tomorrow and day after tomorrow. Just a reminder, this is a 3-day demo series where we are trying to create awareness on what business analyst does, what kind of role they play in IT industry, and how we at Harsha Trainings have created a training program that can help both people from IT, from non-IT transition into business analyst roles. Any questions? Yeah, I see a question on the chat box. Will there be any tool or application related to wireframes mockups? Yes, Raj, we just discussed about Draw.io. Okay, so we will be learning about Draw.io tool that you will be using for creating any wireframes or mockups. Any other questions, guys?
Hi Rahul, this is Sharath here.
Hi, Sharath.
Yeah, after completion of this course, how many years of experience can we uh, put in our resume?
See, that also depends on when you graduated. Suppose if you graduated in 2022, ideally this training program will put you somewhere in 3 to 5 years of bracket. Okay. So let's say if you graduated in 2022, currently it is 2024. So you have only 2 years from your graduation. So at max you'll be able to put 2 years. If you graduated in 2021, you can definitely put 3 years. If you graduated in 2020, you can definitely put 4 years. Okay? So this training program will prepare you to perform your roles or duties in a span of 3 to 5 years range.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, hi Rahul, good morning.
Good morning.
Um, yeah, Mujib this side. I have one doubt, like, can BSc chemistry graduates can eligible for this course?
Yes, yes. All bachelor's, master's degree, they are all eligible. But what I would suggest, Mujib, is if you just have BSc chemistry, do you have any subject as computers as well?
Yes, yes, Rahul.
Okay, okay. Then yes, because if you studied about computers, if you have knowledge about it, then definitely you are eligible. If it is completely not related to computers, not related to anything IT, if you suppose you studied in uh, physics, other subjects, then that could be a slightly problem.
Oh, can I know one subject is there, like computer application subjects? Yes.
Yeah, that should be okay.
Okay, okay, Rahul. Thank you so much, Rahul.
See, one more question from Shiva Deepti. So I hope Shiva Deepti there is no gap in between. So when I say gap, like you were working not necessarily within IT industry or IT sector, even non-IT sector is okay. But after you finished your graduation or post graduation, I hope that you have been working somewhere. As long as you have been working, you can go with this course. Okay. If you have a significant amount of gap, then I will not recommend. When I say significant, it's usually 3 or more years. Okay, any other questions? Okay, I'll take the silence as no questions. Well, thank you guys. We'll connect tomorrow at 8 a.m. IST again. Continue with our day 2. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow.